Hey guys, how's it going? We are working with a bunch of beautiful shade plants today. Look at these. What a beautiful group of plants, the texture, the color. And I've been working on gathering this particular bunch since last fall. A few of these have wintered over since last year. And we're working on the area underneath the ash tree right in front of our house. I'm just walking over to the beginning of the rock pathway so I can show you the kind of overall layout here. I showed you guys this rock pathway the other day in a video. We're not done yet. We still have to come in and mulch over the top, but Pedro and his crew came and just did a beautiful job adding some amazing structure to this area. And we're going to be focusing mainly on this area right here, from like a few feet from the swing over, and the area right underneath the blue spruce tree. Look at this though. The pathway, it takes you out that way, or you can go here into the Versailles garden. Oh, I just love it. Let's walk a little bit further though. I did come out here with some annuals that like the sun, because you could see how much more sun we have to deal with out here. We did plant a Shade Master honey locust, which will eventually shade this area along with the autumn blaze maple that's behind it. But we are just gonna start popping stuff in and making it look full and beautiful. I don't know how I'm gonna be laying these out exactly, but I just am so excited about all these varieties. One of these Heucherellas is brand new for next year, 2024. One of the Hostas was brand new out this year. So I'm hoping that just by seeing some of these varieties, it might give those of you who have shady areas in your garden some ideas. So this one, you guys, this is the Heucherella called Capture the Flag, new for next year. And this is pretty much its full size. So it grows like 8 to 10 inches, the leaf canopy, and then it shoots up these stalks with beautiful white blooms. I love white and cream blooming Heucheras and Heucherellas. This is another Heucherella called Hopscotch that's been around for a while, and it's always been a good performer in our area. Love the creamy white with the pink stems. Ugh. Heucherellas are a mix between a Heucherella and a Tiarella. We've done a video kind of talking about the differences there. We can link it down below if you want to learn more. But they've just been really great for us in that they are so versatile and they come back from year to year. Not all Heucheras do for us, so these Heucherellas have been really nice. These are a zone 4 through 9 and the pollinators do like them. I've had them actually out in the sun on the other side of the high tunnel until today, and they seem to do really well. I think they're pretty versatile. I'm not sure that they would love our full sun areas in the middle of summer. I do think that they benefit from some protection, and that's probably the Tiarella side coming out in them, which typically those want more shade, but they've been pretty tough. So the hopscotch right here, the thing I love about this plant, now this one has been in the sun as well, and I do notice that the full sun has been bleaching out some of the leaves a little bit. So see how those look a little bit lighter? They typically have these nice, real dark, like this right here. This is a nice looking one. That one must have been protected a little bit more. The color of these, they're so autumn. And I think they look so pretty contrasted with some of these other blue colors. But look at the buds on that, the pink stems and those kind of foamy looking buds. And then these beautiful stalks that actually do really well in cut arrangements. They hold really nicely. So this one will grow about 10 to 12 inches tall, the leaf canopy. So, you know, tiny bit bigger than that one. And then this one spreads out like 20 to 24 inches, while that one spreads out about 18 or so. So just a little bit of a bigger plant, different color. Beautiful texture though, and blooms. Okay, before I move too far into the pile here, I want to show you our evergreen element. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with these. We planted these in our friend's garden last year and they've done really well. But yews are a type of evergreen like boxwood that can handle both sun and shade. This one is called Stonehenge Dark Druid. Grows about 3 to 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide, and I'm kind of thinking I could strategically place a few of these and kind of let them grow up and keep them a little bit shorn, not tight like a topiary, but just in a little bit more of a sphere shape. So like today, like I really want to come in and, you know, really shape it up, but I want to let this middle section grow a little bit, let it put on a little bit of growth before I take after it. This one is a zone 5 through 7, and it does keep that deep green leaf, which I really do like. Okay, let's talk hostas. I think I've got, let's see, 6 different varieties here. This one is Hope Springs Eternal, 22 inches tall, spreads out 4 feet. So they look amazing all put together like this, but once I get everything placed and planted, we'll have quite a bit more space between things. because of how large a lot of these hostas will get. But I love the leaf on here, that beautiful, soft, like sage green with the soft yellow variegation. Zone 3 through 9, and this one has white flowers. Although I always pop hosta blooms off for the most part, I don't really like the way they look. This one right here is Miss America. Shadowland Miss America grows 19 inches tall and over 5 feet wide. But I love the hostas with the white variegation because those really show up in dark shaded areas. Then we've got Autumn Frost, which has probably been one of the toughest hostas I have grown in terms of not browning on the tips and not getting all tattered. They have kind of a thicker leaf. It does feel not succulent-ish, but definitely thicker than some of your others here. Doesn't grow as big. This is a nice one to tuck in the edges of flower beds. So 12 inches tall, spacing 2 feet. So this one is going to be something we, place a little bit closer to our walkway. And this is one that came out this year. It's called Above the Clouds. Grows 25 inches tall and I think 5 feet wide. Yeah, 5 feet wide. Can you imagine? Look at that. Oh, it's so, so pretty. I've got one that's similar on the other side of our birch tree over there. Right here. I'm guessing it's going to look something like this. I'm hoping. So I love that hosta. And then we've got the Empress Wu that grows 3 to 4 feet tall and 6 feet wide. I thought those would look really cool right along in here. I think these would look great everywhere. One thing I have been told by a grower was that they do need sufficient moisture in order to reach that huge size. Oh, whoa, oh, he snuck up on me. I always thought that hostas wanted dry shade, and I think they can handle that. They definitely don't want to be sitting in moisture. They want a well-drained location, but I do think that you have to supply consistent moisture in order for them to reach that huge size. Okay, and then we've got a Heuchera called... Hey, what are you doing? You have a great popsicle? That looks yum.
We both have
nice.
We both have
Yes, you do. They look tasty. And then we have these Heuchera right here. I think they're called Coco Mint. I might be wrong. We did plant these in our kitchen window box this spring. And then when we were ready to plant it up for summer, we pulled them out, potted them up, put them in the greenhouse. And I knew I was going to plant them out here, but I just didn't know when I was going to get to it. So we've got a few more of these in the greenhouse, I think 2 or 3 more, should we want to amp up the amount of these that we put in. Okay, now we've got 3 more plants back here, 3 more types of plants. There's a fern that's beautiful. This is going to be a stretch. We'll see what happens. I had ferns in our last garden and they did great. So this one is a Jurassic T-Rex wood fern. Grows 3 feet tall by 3 feet wide and it's a zone 5 through 8. So I'm hoping like if I can put it in the most amount of shade, like in a very protected spot, maybe putting them all together so it's super high impact. Oh, I think that would be just so pretty. And then we've got the Snowflake oak leaf hydrangea, which have these beautiful fluffy white, well, they're kind of like a chartreuse right now, but they age a little bit brighter white. And I love the leaf structure, so we're kind of going in with the same kind of leaf here, and those may end up dotted throughout this side, or I might tuck them in, I'm just not sure yet. They grow about 6 feet tall by 6 feet wide, and they are hardy to zone 5. I'm going to be treating all of these with chelated iron when I plant them today, because I can already see some signs here. That's just something we have to do here with our high pH for some plants. And the last plant we have here is a Japanese maple called Red Dragon. Isn't that beautiful? This one tops out at about 7 to 8 feet tall and 5 feet wide. So I think I want to tuck it right behind that oak leaf, right in there, so we can see it from both sides. Oh, I think it would be so, so pretty right there. Zone 5 through 8. Just a beautiful structure. All right, guys, so we're gonna start by laying out the flower bed. Typically, I start from, tallest stuff and then work my way down, trying to incorporate evergreen interest ever so often. This area, though, around the ash tree is gonna be a little bit different because I don't really have a backdrop. There's not a back to this flower bed, and it's one that I still want to be able to kind of see over. So this might just end up being a sea of hostas, which I think would be absolutely beautiful. But what might happen is I will lay these plants out and live with it for a little while. I might be planting these tomorrow just so I can look at everything from every angle, really think about it. And that way we can, decide if we need to leave space for something different that we can add later on. But anyway, that's just kind of how I like to approach flower beds, especially when I'm putting so many things in, because I don't want to plant things today and then decide I want to shift it tomorrow. It's best just to let them sit for a few hours first and really think about it. Also, a big storm is supposed to roll in at some point today, and I don't know if that's going to materialize or not, but it seems like we've been getting a storm just about every day, so we'll have to work around that possibly. It doesn't look like anything's coming. Beautiful blue skies right now, but that's how every day starts out these days. And then the big clouds have been rolling in from over here instead of over here, which they normally come this direction. Weird. All right, guys, here we go. I think I've got everything placed where I want to put it. So I want to do an initial walkthrough just to show you before they go in the ground, because typically when I plant things, I do shift things a little bit at that point. I'm gonna wait till about 5 o'clock tonight though to start any planting, because this back end right here on this side, I wanna see how far that sun reaches in, just in case it's a little bit too close. I think it's still going to be in the shade, but I'm not 100% sure. I ended up concentrating a lot of the plants on this side, and it's so beautiful, even seeing them just sitting there in their potential spots. I did leave this area fairly open because I wanted to be able to walk to the swing. This is being used less and less. I can see after this summer is going to be the last one for that swing, I think, which is a little sad, but you know, we'll just wait on the rest of this area. So we've gotten above the clouds right here, and you know, I did space them fairly far apart, the Empress Woos, because we do have some that get quite large. But with hostas in our area, I typically err on putting them a little bit closer together than the tag says they will get, because most years I'm grooming tons off of our hostas because they get tattered from our wind, and the edges maybe start to burn on some of them, some more than others. So if I put them closer together, when I have to groom them down throughout the season, it doesn't leave quite as much space between them, if that makes sense. They still look kind of full if I do it that way. So a nice big blue hosta right here. We've got the Coco mint. I went back to the greenhouse. I had 2 more in there, so that'll be a nice little drift. There's Empress Woos kind of just dotted through this whole area, and they kind of swing around to the other side and out between the oak leaf hydrangeas. A couple of the Miss America. I wish I had one more of these to do 1, 2, 3 right here, but I love that bright pop. I mean, of all the plants in this area, don't those just shine? Oh, I think it's so pretty. And then the 3 ferns here, which I put them on this side of the tree because that'll protect them from wind. And then a big old drift of this Heuchera. So pretty. I ended up not using the other Heuchera, which surprises me. But when you get all these plants together and you have a ton of leaves that are variegated, you know, you can get too much with that too. So I'm going to put those somewhere else where they can really kind of shine, so that they're not fighting with all the variegation in these hostas. Moving on, you can see the oak leaf hydrangeas. Those are in the purple cans right there. And this is the spot in question. See how the shade just ends right there? I want to make sure that the sun doesn't creep in. If it does, I'm just going to eliminate the last row of hostas right there. But if it doesn't, I would love to get 1 more of these hydrangeas and pop it right there. So we've got like a grouping of 5, and those will be coming up above the canopy of hostas in the end. Then there's a drift of Voices in the Wind hosta right here. There's 5 of those, and then there are more above the clouds to end it off. Swooping over to the other side, I love these dark druids just dotted along the pathway. It gives it a sense of, well, weight. It gives you weight. They're not going to be super formal, because that's what we've got over here when, you know, we have our hedges trimmed. I want to leave these just a little bit more fluffy. But I had initially popped the oak leaf hydrangeas over here, but I think what I'm going to do, where we lost the one, I think I'm going to try it again. So whenever I can get my hands on another one that will match this swoop, I will do that. So that spot will just be vacant for a while. But I did tuck some hostas, and these I don't think I went over. These are called Love Story. And I think these are new ones. Shadowland Love Story, 14 to 16 inches tall, 42-inch spacing, and they can just kind of do their thing and fill in right underneath this spruce tree. And in the end, I would love to have this whole area just full of hostas. since the canopy of this spruce has been lifted. I'm gonna put a ginger wine 9 bark right here, kind of bridge the gap. It's a nice sunny spot right there. I think that stays sunny quite a lot of the day because of how well the Russian sage does, but that looks really pretty up against that. And then finishing it off with the red dragon Japanese maple right there. And then walking this way, just get a feel for the space here. Oh my, that looks good. I think this will throw me off less once those purple pots are gone. Okay, so I'm gonna give it just a few hours. I'm gonna monitor the amount of sun right along that edge there. Once we've determined that, I feel like I can get out here and plant it. I really like how these look. Now, I'm gonna be using a shovel around the ash tree. For the most part, I think, it kind of depends on how it goes. Typically, we don't deal with a lot of root interference here with most everything. The hardest place that I ever have to plant is right beneath our maple by our back shade porch. That is the only place I've run into any issues. But I'd rather not go in with an auger and mess anything up. So I'll probably go at it fairly tender and slow, so we keep everybody happy. It's 3 o'clock, so a couple hours after we finished placing everything, I think I'm gonna start planting. I'll start with the shadiest end first, and we'll work our way toward the end of the shade, which hasn't changed in the past couple hours. I'll still wait. I mean, it'll take me a while to get all these things in the ground, so it's likely it'll be about, I don't know, maybe 5-ish by the time I get to those hostas anyway. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm just so excited to get these things in. Well, it rained there for about an hour really hard, which was wonderful. We were able to turn drips off again. Aaron just fertilized the grass today, so it watered it all in. It was just amazing. The wind did kick up there for a little bit, so I tipped the hydrangeas over. Thought they would fare better if they were on their sides versus being toppled over by the wind, but I think I'm just gonna carry on now. It's just like lightly raining at this point. All right, guys, we got everything in. I am just so excited about this amazing start to this shady area. Now, the area right around the tree, I want to show you how many roots I hit. I was very careful, and I even planted some a little bit high so that I could avoid some great big roots. And if I came across a root, like a big one, I would just shift the plant from left to right. So not all of them ended up exactly where I wanted them, but this is it. These are the only roots that I cut out of holes, and it was just by accident. I usually try to shift things around so I don't even have to cut roots this size. But for the amount we planted around this tree, I feel like this is really good. And really, I only had to plant a couple of them high, like this hosta, kind of mounded up, and that one right there. But you know, we're gonna come in with our drip system, and then we're gonna be adding mulch. So we can add mulch up to the layer that the plants are planted at, kind of just bringing up the whole area just a little bit. But I'm just loving this so much. I did not anticipate loving these yews as much as I do. I think they are just absolutely perfect here, adding that weight and then that cohesion in this area. I just kind of like draw your eye from one end to the next. And you know, this is kind of where we need to stop and go into sunnier things anyway, so it's kind of perfect. The ginger wine 9 bark added in there, I think, is a really nice kind of break, I guess, in all of the different greens. But there's blue in here too. Just all kinds of beautiful color here. There's blue and red and green, and then there's yellow in the variegation of those hostas. Oh, those ended up beautiful as well. And the Japanese maple in there. So again, that one will grow, what, 7 to 8 feet? Spread out 5, so it'll just fill in this space beautifully. I did treat this hydrangea and this one over here with chelated iron, as well as the 4 we planted over here. Now look at this bed from backed up. Isn't that gorgeous? It just changes the whole feel in this area. I can't even believe it. On the approach from this area, I love the ferns. I think those are so pretty. I hope they survive. If they don't, I will probably pop more hostas in right there. But I really do like that texture and that height, especially once they reach their full 3 feet, if they do like it here. That will be amazing. Now in this area, we are not going to be running brown drip tubing like up here. The reason why we added up here is because I have things planted fairly close together, and there will be the flowers I'm going to be growing here will be close together as well. But I feel like the saturation level that this will bring to this area is not what I want for this. You know, this ash tree was in a grassy lawn area for I don't know how many years. So it was receiving lawn sprinkler water every single day for a number of years of its life. And I don't know, by removing all that grass, what that has done to the tree. It's super healthy. It's doing really well, which I'm thankful for, because ash trees, we have to fight for them here to do well because of the borer issue. And they tend to die out after a while. So I'm really thankful this is doing well, but I don't want to just all of a sudden then again deluge it with water. So we're going to run solid black poly through this area, and we're going to do individual emitters for each plant. That way it's just targeted water to the root system of these plants. And we're only going every other day with water now instead of every day, hoping to stretch it to every 3 days. We want to do longer soaks less frequently. That's the goal. So I want to say for each one of the hostas and the heucheras, for now, we're going to put a 1 gallon per hour emitter on each one of them, and they run every other day for 2 hours. So it'll get 2 gallons of water every other day, which may even be too much. So we may back that off. But the hydrangeas and the ferns, we will make sure to give extra. See, we're later on in the evening now, getting a little bit of sunshine right through that little avenue. So we're going to have to watch those plants, because sometimes when they stay in the shade all day and then they get blasted right at the end of the day, they don't like that. So it's possible, you know, these things may shift a bit, which is totally fine. I'm willing to do that. It's just kind of an interesting space. I've got some double up white begonias I thought would be kind of pretty to put in here, or I may not. I may just leave it open and just clear, kind of breathing space, more simple right there. But I just love it, you guys. So excited about this space. You know, we don't have a tremendous amount of shade in our garden yet. Hopeful one day to have a lot of it. So this is a rare thing for me. I'm used to planting out there where it's just like there's trees everywhere, but everything's babies. So it's just full on sun all the time. Boy, our weather just turned right around, didn't it? We're expecting another storm though here in a few hours. So weird, our weather this year. Amazing, but strange. So standing here in Versailles, I'm actually thinking I'm gonna have a chance to trim these. We are supposed to dip down in temperature for 4 days next week into the high 60s, low 70s. Weird, and high 40s at night. So that may be my one and only opportunity to get these shorn up before the heat comes back. But I love the solidness that this hedge adds to this area, and I love the Russian sage right behind it. We get a pocket of sun right here. There's some yarrow blooming. I'm gonna clean the Russian sage up from right here, but looking this way, isn't that just so fun? We'll probably leave this pretty clean. I may put a container or something, or nothing right here. I want to have the ability to move at this table this way more if we want to kind of angle it this way, because this, you know, right now you can see it wouldn't be super comfortable to eat something right there because it's so bright. But if we shifted it over here, we would be in the shade. So it'd be kind of nice to keep that a little bit flexible. I will probably come in though and maybe add a few more little things in there, just enough to where it kind of comes out and meets the rocks like right here so that we can hide these boxes. I just want to sit out here now. Just sit out here and enjoy these new plants. And you guys, that is it for today. What an amazingly fun project. I just had the best time, and I love that everything is in the ground. You know, I said that we may do the rest of the planting tomorrow, and some projects end up that way, but as I was getting things laid out, I just got more and more excited, and I wanted the day to kind of hurry up so I could see the light and see where we needed to put things so I could just get it all planted, and it worked out. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was satisfying just to see some of this area fill up a little bit, or maybe motivating. I love watching stuff like this happen. Like, it almost motivates me to keep going in this space, because sometimes it just takes, you know, that one thing to get you going, and then you can just roll with the rest of it. It just kind of flows naturally that way, and I love it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. We will give you updates throughout the season, and we will see you in the next video. Bye. What are you doing, Cheddar? You want some dinner?